Hello and welcome to Reviews. The past few videos have been almost soul-sucking, really. It's just been bad book after bad book after bad book. And as you know, I try to be fair. I want to look for good stuff. I don't want to just do bad books. I mean, yeah, they're more I guess they're more entertaining when you tear up a book, but I want to lift up the industry. I want to focus on good things. And so that's why I always say if you have any good suggestions, like books that you feel are good, let me know. I will check them out. Right now, the book I've been digging on, if you've been watching, has been Empty Man. And this is a horror book. And I am loving this book. And I want to tell you right now, this issue is no exception. It's paced, it's dark, and I'll go over that at the end here. Let's take a look at this. At the end of the last video, last issue, the Whisper Oracles had descended upon Melissa and her family, and they were going to send a message. Basically, they were going to burn the town down. So this issue starts off with what looks to be in a it is in a TV studio. You find this out later at the end of the book. And there's a guy who's interviewing a couple kids. And he says, the girl says, "You keep asking the same questions." "Do I? I didn't think. They're the same questions, but they sound different to you." "I see. How does that work?" "You haven't been awakened yet. Your brain won't let you see or hear or taste or smell the truth. You're talking about some higher form of awareness. Maybe. Our minds play tricks on us. They tell us lies. And not white lies either. Bad lies." So this other kid says that he wants to show the empty man's world. So he lifts up his drawing to show the interviewer, and it just looks like the regular world. And he asks, "Do you see? That looks like our world. Our world. That doesn't look unusual at all." "Why would it?" "It's all right. He can't see it yet, but he will. This is the empty man's world. It's the world he wants, the world he's going to take. And he showed you this when you were missing. We weren't missing. The empty man wanted us so we could spread his testimony. He doesn't want to be cruel. He wants the world to understand." So we get the interview going on with these two creepy kids, and we'll find out in a minute the significance of these two. In the meantime, we're going back to Melissa's family as she and the FBI agents are trying to escape. Now, I didn't show you at the end because this was like kind of a last page reveal. This kind of centipede creature just comes out and starts attacking. And he jumps on them and says, "Owen, get them out of here. I'm not leaving you. Just get clear of it. Get its heads up. Get its head up." And so she's fighting it off. It asks her, "Why? Why do you resist me? You belong to me now. We are one and the same." So her partner ends up shooting it, and the father asks, "What the hell was that? What was it?" And "Not now, Johnson. We don't have time to give them answers. They found us." Talk about the Whisper Oracles. So they make their escape, and they're shooting through the Whisper Oracles, and the dad's even fighting back, and the one agent says, "Back inside," and that's when he gets stabbed. And so she shoots him, shoots the one that stabbed him. "No, not back in there. They'll have us trapped. They're not stupid. Not all of them. Not all of them are willing to take a bullet." So yeah, some of them are willing to die for their for their cult, the Whisper Oracle cult, but the other ones are they're willing to back off. So they make a break for it, and they're running, and they say, "Just keep running, don't even look," because they're making an example of this town, as they said in the last issue. And the creature starts hissing, and we get over to here, and we get the oracles kind of doing the cleanup. Where is she? Who retrieved Mrs. Carey from her home? We found more than a few sensitives, sir, but not the Carey woman. It's possible she was killed by accident, or that she somehow slipped away. So they decide they're just going to leave and, kind of regroup, but they're going to leave their message. So, of course, they paint on the wall of this house, this three-story house. I'm not quite sure if they brought the ladders, how they got the paint all the way up here. The empty man made me do it. So, yeah, the empty man virus, turns people crazy, and they start getting violent and attacking and hurting themselves. And, it's kind of like the whole Slender Man creepypasta, um, if you haven't watched the previous videos. So, and we go back to the creature, and he's sniffing around, and then he lets out this major shriek, and we see that it's affecting sensitives. Like here, we have a stripper who was affected, a janitor, um, whatever this guy is, just had a car wreck. Looks like a pastor, and yet even some of the people in the Whisper Oracles group are being affected. Not all of them, but most of them are. That's kind of important. So Melissa, the Carey family, they hold up in a hotel, and we see she's taking the pills that we've seen in a previous issue, and um, they ask her about the pills, and they ask, you're sick, aren't you? You've got it too. You're sick with the empty man virus. That's why you're taking those pills. And so he says, you're not FBI. And she says, I was an FBI agent, but I've been on administrative leave for some time now. And so we basically get her story. My partner, Walter Langford, and I were investigating a missing persons case. You heard about it, I imagine. It was all over the TV. The two children who vanished, we were the ones who found them. These are the two children that are being interviewed at the beginning of the issue. But of course, even though they were found, as you see, they're still affected. But we discovered so much more. The disease was mutating, changing, and striking back at us. And we'll just cut over a little bit here. They believed that they were infecting us like a disease, and the dreams had nestled so deeply in our reality that not even killing the man's body, who they think is patient zero, would stop them from spreading. That's what Langford believed. So he left this world. He went looking for a way to kill the empty man's consciousness on some other plane. The creature we saw, I'm going to tell you, there's more of them. They're coming into the world. And so I'm going to stop it right there. This book is good. I don't want to give too much away. We find out that the Whisper Oracles are part of a bigger network, and it's kind of looping back around to the beginning of the issue. Why am I liking this book? One thing, I do have a soft spot for horror, and not just the typical like 80s Friday the 13th, just blood and guts everywhere, buckets of blood and gore for no reason. Now, I like the psychological horror. I like the terror. I like the uneasiness. And this book delivers that. As you notice, there wasn't really as much gore as we've seen in previous issues. And also, this story, it flows. Each issue carries the plot forward. And that's why I've been complaining with a lot of the other books I've been reading. It seems like, especially like Maneaters from last week, where it didn't even move the plot forward. And maybe a smidge, maybe it kind of nudged it. But this, we see it's going in beats. And for everything we find out, there's a new mystery. So there's a give a little bit, take a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We learn something new, but then there's a bigger mystery. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is actually like a continuation. There was an Empty Man series several years ago. I never read that. So I came into the first issue pretty much blind. And I feel like I'm keeping up. I mean, it's not like I have, like a good horror story. It's not like I have all the answers, but I can follow this enough to keep an idea of what's going on. And it's intriguing. It makes me want to know more. What exactly is the Empty Man? So yeah, I'm loving this book. Um, Now, by this point, maybe it's not incredibly new reader friendly. If you haven't been reading since the first issue, I kind of skipped the first page. Um, yeah, doesn't really give kind of a previously on type thing. Um, but yeah, Colin Bunn, I think is killing it with this book. I'm really loving it. If I had to take away any points, um, it would be that I think at this point it's not terribly new reader friendly. Um, and I always say I'm a big fan of Jim Shooter's idea. Treat every book as if it's someone's first book. Even if you have to put a thing on the first page, summarizing so far. Um, for first, someone were to pick this up, they probably be pretty confused then as to who these people are. And when we get back to the Whisper Oracles, they're not really addressed very well. So yeah, anyway, I'm giving 11:30. That's 11:30. That's how it works. Um, Only because I think we might be getting into the weeds here. If you haven't been reading since the beginning, you may start to get a little lost. If you've been reading from the beginning, you should be caught up. And I can't say enough good stuff about this book. And it's nice to finally read something that I'm enjoying. So yeah, that's my thing. Pick this book up. If your shop doesn't have it, ask them to order it because I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. If you liked the way Vertigo used to be. Um, did I have my finger in the camera? If I did, sorry about that. Oh, it's just I think this fold over here. If you liked the way Vertigo used to be back in the 90s and early aughts, yeah, you will like this book. Trust me, just get it. If you were a fan of the Sandman and Preacher, get this book. You will like it. Oh, so anyway, it's nice to finally have something I enjoy because, oh yeah, what's coming up next? Oh boy. Anyways, I'll keep that a secret. Well, you probably already know what's if you've looked at what came out this week, well, last week, technically last Wednesday, you know that there's some bigger books coming through, especially when I say a bigger book, maybe an expensive book. That's a little hint. It's nice to have a little break here. Nice little palate cleanser, as I get ready to drink more shit cocktails. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment. Have you been reading this? Are you enjoying this as much as I am? What other books would you recommend? Because I'm always looking for new ones. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.